fly an F-35 Joint Strike Fighter called the Lightning II. But to get to that point, I've flown those first, second, third, and fourth generation jets. Getting to the third generation, that was about jets going supersonic speeds with some kind of sophistication. The fourth generation of jet, those were really maneuverable jets. They pulled lots of G, they went pretty fast, they had some sophistication, they could do lots of missions just in a single airframe. The fifth generation is now the most fascinating. A stealth airplane with sensors that see 360 degrees around the pilot spherically, from horizon to horizon, not just in the front where a radar might have looked historically, but all the way around. As far as you can imagine, I see and detect and have that information presented on two iPad-type screens in front of me, or on a screen on the helmet that I wear that is akin to what Tony Stark wears in the Iron Man movies that we all love.
Gauge heads-up display, check. Report all preferences from home interface.
Flying a fighter jet at supersonic speeds, where you pull up to 9 times the force of gravity, is a really physically demanding, punishing environment. So being physically fit, almost to an extreme, is a basic necessity for a fighter pilot. Otherwise, you will not be able to stand the forces and stay conscious while you're fighting, dogfighting, as we would say, someone else. But the second part is the mental acuity that comes with this. Much like most of us have adapted to iPhones, to Blackberries, to living in a digital world, that's exactly what the fighter pilot has to do. The technologies in my airplane, with 8.6 million lines of software code, drive the pilot to look at screens and presentations that are as high-tech as anything that exists anywhere in the world. And so for the human that flies, you better be up to date. The rest is adaptability to flying an airplane. Not everybody thrives in that environment. Some people excel. It's getting the right kind of personality in a cockpit who loves going fast, dealing with really complicated, quickly evolving scenarios, and that's what they yearn for. That's their passion. Those are the people that want to fly jet airplanes and be fighter pilots and test pilots. You test an airplane to find its boundaries, and as good as our computers are and the simulation is in this day and age, you never really know where the boundaries of an airplane are until you take it there. So that's been the case since Chuck Yeager went supersonic more than 50 years ago, because they didn't know where the boundary was, the wall, the barrier of sound, and they passed on that. Years ago, they lost test pilots at a rate of 1 a month, if you can imagine. That was the fatality rate back more than 50 years ago. Fortunately, we're not at that, but it's still a very dangerous world to find out where the extremes are, to fly to that boundary, to see how the airplane works, to make sure it doesn't go out of control and into a spin, takes us pushing the limits to see where that envelope meaning how high, how fast, how slow it goes, to find out where that envelope edge is. And then in the far end, how fast can you go? And what does the airplane do when you push it to its red line, just like someone in their Ferrari and Lamborghini on the highway? How fast can it take? I've been in an aircraft accident and nearly died. I've been close enough to an airplane falling apart or things going dramatically, catastrophically wrong. Often, there are boundaries out there, and there are cliffs that if we fly past those limits, all hell will break loose and we'll be dead. We do our very, very best to find out where those edges are and not fall over the cliff. That's the secret of what a pilot, a test pilot, brings to the development of an airplane, including the one I fly now, the F-35. In my world, flying a jet is the most astonishing thing I've ever done. It gets better and more exciting every year that I do it, and I've never got to a point where there aren't huge challenges out there. I think for anyone that finds what they truly love in life and gets a chance to do that and live their passion, then they become part of a really tiny minority of humanity that lives for the passion of getting up every day and enjoying and being thrilled to go to do their work.